What makes an RPG fun? Personally, I think it's the classes. You know, mage, archer, knight, and so on. So that's exactly what I did today. I added classes to my Minecraft RPG server, but I also added a twist to each class. Welcome to episode 3 of making an RPG in Minecraft. So the plan for this episode is to add 4 unique classes to the game and add unique abilities for each one of them. First though, we have to add a feature that is necessary for classes. Profiles. So currently, there are no profiles in the game. Profiles are a good feature to have because they allow the player to complete the game in multiple ways without overriding their previous progress. The normal player will have access to 5 profiles and any more will require a rank. To make way for the profiles, we must change the way how data is stored. Currently, each player has one chunk of data for themselves. Without profiles, this works fine as every player has one set of data that needs to be stored. But for profiles, we must store all of them individually. Now, we could store all the profiles in this one chunk, but that would cause way too much lag when loading the data. So instead, I'll be splitting each profile into its own chunk of data. Basically, instead of storing the chunks by the player's UUID, instead there will now be a profile name after the UUID as well. Luckily for me, it's very easy to add data chunks due to the system I made in the last episode. I can just make a new storage type called profile and somehow link it to the player when they join the server. This can actually be done by storing the name of the profile that the player selects in the main data chunk and then accessing the profile through there. We also have to store the player's inventory and location in the profile, so when they rejoin the server, they're back when they left off. Although, profile selection won't be as easy as that. We actually have to make a separate server. Think of it as a lobby where you will select your profile. This makes it much easier to handle profile switching. Unfortunately, that isn't as simple as it seems. I'll have to implement a proxy. Now, what is a proxy, you ask? A proxy is basically a server that connects multiple other servers and lets us send players through them. When the player joins the server, the proxy will redirect the player to the correct server, which in this case is the lobby. Currently for my server, I'm using Paper, and for the proxy, I'll be using Waterfall. Setting up the proxy was a bit of a pain since it requires you to change some settings that I couldn't find at all for some reason. But in the end, I got there somehow. So as you can see, I can access 2 servers basically by being on one. This is very useful because it allows us to separate the plugins, and it's also very good for future compatibility. Now, I had to make a new plugin specifically for the lobby that will let us select profiles. Okay, enough boring talk, let's get to making it. I had this pretty cool idea about how the lobby could work. Basically, each profile is represented by an NPC, which you can select by clicking on it. I'll show you guys how it looks. So, as I mentioned before, these NPCs represent your profiles. You can click them to select them. And when you go through this door, you get sent to the main server. Now, you might have noticed that I was using a texture pack. So, I want to give a shout out to Applets for making it, as I don't think I could have done it myself. This isn't the end of the texture pack though, and we'll be expanding it a bunch during the series. Now, something that I am capable of doing is coding. So that's what I did. I made this cool system that uploads resource packs from our computers directly onto the server and then applies them to us in-game. This allows us to quickly make changes to the resource pack and upload them to all the people at the same time. But this isn't the only thing I made. What the program also does is grab the data from the resource pack. More specifically, custom items and blocks, such as the ones you saw in the lobby showcase. What it then does is it converts them to a data file and sends them to the server as well, where the server processes them and gives us this menu with all the custom items and blocks. What I personally find very cool about this is that it's done in real time. When you run the program, it takes literal milliseconds before it reaches the server and updates everything. This will be especially useful when I expand the team, as the artist can upload the resource pack to the whole staff team at once and they'll be loaded instantly. This program doesn't work alone though. There's a separate plugin on the server that handles the resource packs. It works by checking the status of the most recent resource pack, which is just a number stored in the database. It then compares it to the last saved status, and if it finds a difference, it detects that the resource pack has changed. Then, it announces that the resource pack has been updated to the whole server. There's also a staff exclusive setting that allows the server to automatically apply the newest resource pack when it detects an update. This is what you saw in the clip earlier. One bug I had while making this plugin that I couldn't really find much info on was loading the resource pack. For some reason, Minecraft didn't like that I was trying to update the resource pack in real time, and it just kept kicking me out. The solution which ended up working for me was changing the name of the resource pack on each update. In the previous, bugged version, the program would automatically name the resource pack latest and then send it away to the server. This would cause an error while loading it, as Minecraft wouldn't really know what to do. Instead, I placed a timestamp at the end of the pack's name, so that no 2 identical copies could exist. This seemed to fix the issue, and I was pretty happy in the end. Now, if you've ever been curious as to how most servers make custom blocks, there's a pretty high chance they're using note blocks. This is because of the way how Minecraft handles block data. Essentially, when making a resource pack, it's possible to define how a block should look based on the data that it has. This could be data such as the direction of a piston is facing, or if a fence is waterlogged, and so on. Now, note blocks are a perfect match for the system because they're both full blocks and have over 1000 different block states. This is what we'll be using on our server. To support these node blocks, the plugin also does some pretty cool features such as allowing us to place blocks on these custom node blocks, whereas previously that wouldn't be possible. It also stops all node blocks from updating so that the blocks remain how they should be. This is very useful, in fact, it's necessary for building with these custom blocks. So that would mark the lobby mostly done. This is unfortunately where I have to end things off, but before you click off, I have a small announcement to make. As you're probably wondering, this video is a pretty short one. Why exactly? Well, basically, I'm changing the direction of the content I make. I posted an explanation in the update channel on my Discord server, so if you want to know the full reason, you can check it out there, or pause to read right now. Anyways, thanks for watching and have a great day.